Okay, it's 2 o'clock. Let's make a start. So welcome to this, the second webinar of today. I know some of you were here this morning. Welcome back. So thanks for that. So today it's still all about Civil 3D, and this time it's the Junction Wizard. So can I once again just check that I'm not talking to myself and that you can all hear me? If you can raise your hand, do it in the application. Raising it physically would be a bit weird. Or say something in the comments, yo, I can see you, whatever. Good, I can see lots of hands up. Okay, so those of you that can't hear me, check your speakers. Right, okie dokie, let's keep going. So, my name's Ian Robinson. I'm the infrastructure here at Graitec. I'm the infrastructure consultant here at Graitec. So I work with infrastructure design and BIM-related software. I spend most of my time doing training and consultancy and support and webinars like this one and workshops, blogs, all that sort of stuff. Generally, I evangelize the technology. I make it work in the real world. That's my role. So my focus is Civil 3D, Map 3D, and InfoWorks. They're quite useful with my background of GIS. Recap if you're doing point clouds, Navisworks for federated models and clash detection, and also BIM 360, which is now the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So I must change that. Graitec, we've been here around a long time, over 30 years. We've established ourselves as one of the largest Autodesk partners in the world. We are a software developer, so we combine our own products with the Autodesk portfolio, and that kind of uniquely places in the marketplace that you guys work in. We've got over 100 staff just working in research and development, and they work on the class-leading BIM solutions that we provide, and there's over 200 people like myself, industry consultants. And our products are used in thousands of projects all over the world. And of course, we deliver an awful lot of training as well. There's 4 pillars to what we do here at Graitec. We create, simulate, fabricate, and manage. So the create side is us working with the Autodesk portfolio and then our own PowerPack enhancements to the software, mainly the Revit PowerPack, Advanced Steel, that sort of thing. And that helps in creation of construction and manufacturing deliverables. And then we combine that with our simulation products that verifies them deliverables and drives into the fabrication process. And then we manage them deliverables too. We have our own CDE products. They link to internal and external platforms for managing all your data and your files. So this webinar is very much fixed in the create phase using Civil 3D. Up and coming events and recent events. So recently, there's the last ones that I've done. The one this morning, Retaining Walls, will be online soon. It's not on demand yet, basically because I've only just converted it and I haven't posted it yet. So that will be published to it'll be sent to our marketing team this afternoon, and then that should be up within a week or two, usually. Okay. You can download this presentation if you go to the handouts area of the GoTo training software. And these are all clickable links, so you can just click straight on this link here to go to our events to see all our up-and-coming events. That's the link for viewing the past events, so the CAD courses, training tutorials and webinars. So if you go to our website or use the link here and just go straight to it. While you're on our website, why don't you subscribe to our blog as well? So we'll as I was saying this morning, I've not done a blog for a while. I need to get back on top of them, but we've been so busy. But I will get back blogging. Nice little short ways of working. The Graitec training passports. If you want more than just webinars, then you can purchase the training passport. This allows you to go to as many training sessions as you want within each of the passports for AEC, manufacturing, structural, or fabrication. Throughout the year, you can go to as many of them as you like. So if you're doing a Civil 3D Essentials course, then why not do you might need the AutoCAD one, or do the Navisworks Manage, or look at the Revit package as well. So there's plenty of options there as well. Right, we're going to do a quick poll. It's slightly different to the one that we did this morning. So if you did join in this morning, please just repeat what you did this morning on the ones that are the same. But there are some different people here I can see that were not here this morning. So I'll just launch the first question, which is, what software, Autodesk software, do you have? If you have the AEC collection, I know you have Civil 3D, I know you have AutoCAD, and I know you have Revit. So just tick on the AEC collection. But if you only have Civil, or if you only have AutoCAD, or if you only have Revit, tick on them. And then, of course, if you're here just to see what Civil can do and you don't actually haven't purchased any software yet, you don't have any Autodesk software, tick the last one. Excellent. That's good to see. Most of you have voted. Just a couple left. Okay, so everybody's got the software. Let me just close that poll down now. If you haven't voted, last chance. Right, close it down now, and I'll share that with you. So most of you, like this morning, using the AC collection, which is excellent. There's some Civil 3D users here, some AutoCAD, and some Revit users as well. So again, useful information. All right, let's go to the next question. Same as this morning. Do you have InfoWorks? Slightly different answers, because I realised that as I was asking the question this morning, there was another category that we should have added in there. So if you've got it and you use it all the time, please check that one. If you've got it but you've never used it, maybe you've got the AC collection. If for example, you've got the AC collection and you don't know what InfoWorks is, that you have got it. So tick, I have got it, but I've never used it. Some of you may have only used it a couple of times. Just let us know. And if you don't know what InfoWorks is, please feel free to pick the last option there. I'll leave that for a second while I have a slurp of tea. Few of you not voted yet. I'll give you one more second. Oh, there we are. Everybody's voted. Almost everybody. Oh, nice even split there. So essentially everybody's, oh no, some people don't know what InfoWorks is. So if you don't know what InfoWorks is, if you're doing this type of work, then I highly encourage you to go to our on-demand area and have a look at my presentation on an introduction into InfoWorks. That'll give you a heads up. It's great for preliminary design. It's good for bringing things together. It's good for sharing your data. It's a really good way of sharing your data. Create a web page of your data, let everybody see it, or let only certain people see it, which is great. So yeah, unusually nobody ticked yes, I use it all the time. No, I know that's a lie, because I know somebody in there who does use it all the time. But anyway, because you did this morning, maybe you didn't worry about it. Right, let me hide that. And then perhaps the most important question at the moment, I'll just launch that now. Who's going to win on Sunday? England or Italy, or win what? Is there a game on Sunday of something? What is it? Oh, you really, really don't give two hoots as to who wins on Sunday. Let me know. Oh, interesting. Keep it coming. All right, so I expected about 90% people saying England, but you're all engineers, you're realists, aren't you? So we didn't get that. Let me close the poll now. Let's have a look. 55% say England, interesting, and 18% say Italy. It could be anybody's game, couldn't it? And 27% of you are with the most of my family, and they really do not give two hoots as to who wins. More interested in the tennis, no doubt. Okay, right, let me hide that. I think England will win. Oh, I don't know. No, I don't know. Let's move on. Right. So, in the past, I've covered junctions. I've shown a little bit of the wizard, but this one I'm going to focus on the wizard. Because in the past ones, I focused on manually creating junctions. Standard junctions, new junctions, tying into existing roads, doing 3-centered arced curb returns, and I also did roundabout design. So I've done all of that, and I have touched on the wizard, but here, as I say, I'm just going to focus on the wizard. So we're going to start with simple, this is how you use the wizard, all right? And we'll just do it live, so anything can happen. I may break it. We'll see what happens. Then I'll talk about setting up your standards. So we can go into our template or into our drawing settings, and we'll have a look at them. Then I'll be looking at using your own assembly. So out of the box, there's a whole load of assemblies given to you. If you're using the country kit, which you all should be, then there's a whole load more assemblies that you can use. And then also what I want to do is use my own assemblies, but save them for the next time I do this. So I can create my own standards and share them standards as well. So the wizard, it will basically take you through the steps one by one. And the country kit is very well set up for you to complete a junction using UK standards really quickly. Now, where the tool is useful, it's for new junctions where there are 2 new roads that are being built. So in this example, we've got 4 new roads. Now, I would always recommend that you learn how to do this manually, even if you're going to use the wizard. That way, you're going to have a deeper understanding of what is happening, and there is an awful lot happening here. That is the result. That is the corridor assembly parameters for this project. There's an awful lot being done, and of course, to do this manually, there's an awful lot of stuff you're going to have to do. So it's much better to use the wizard. If you're not familiar with the technique, so if you don't know how to do it manually, then that is quite a big task. You know, it will feel unsurmountable how to do that. But if you know what's happening, you can change whatever you need, fix whatever problem you come across, and no piece of software is going to tell you what to do, is it? You're in control, you're the engineer. However, the junction wizard, oh, sorry, I've just flipped too far. The junction wizard, it will take all the tedious, repetitive stuff out of the equation, so you could just concentrate on that solution. So to speed things up, let's say you're a house builder, you've got 5 junctions to do, all with the same dimensions. You can set them up in your template really easy. You just go to your settings and look for junctions. Remember, if you've got the American English version installed, yours will say intersections. So if yours says intersections, that's fine. It's just the American English interface. But as long as you've got the country kit, nothing bad will happen. I've got the British English one, so mine will say junction. So just transpose that in your head. But in that setting, you go to the commands, and you'll see the command create intersection. Oh, by the way, the commands aren't translated into British English. So anyway, in there, we can set up all the standard things like widths and crossfalls, etc. This way, you can just create the junction, ignore all the settings, because you've already set them up in your template, and just go straight to the create corridor bit, which is quite cool. So you'll see all of that. We'll have a good play with that. I've no idea how long this is going to take, so we'll just see how we get on. It's Friday anyway, we can relax, can't we? If you've got different assemblies that you want to use, other than the standard ones out of the box or in the country kit, you just add them to the drawing before you start, and then you add them to the junction wizard. So you add them in this list here, and you can save them to next time. You see there, save set as. You can save them for next time, and what it does is it creates an XML file which points to all the assemblies you have used. But cleverly, not the assemblies in this drawing. You know, like when you create a block and put it on your tool palette, it references the drawing. This doesn't do that, because that would be crazy. If that drawing changed or moved, or the assemblies changed, your next junction will reflect that change. No, so what it actually does is it creates a separate DWG file for each assembly and saves that into your installation folder, okay? So that's what the XML looks like. And in there, you can basically see where the drawing is stored. It's got a path over here. It's in the AC content, so there's a path here. If you want to share them, you share the XML file, and you also share the folder where they are all stored. Okay, and you can see it's in your program data folder, Civil 3D. Yours will say ENU if you've got American English, ENG if you've got British English, assemblies, and then I've stored mine in the UKIE area. You can see I've got some extra ones in there, but you can store them wherever you like. Okay, can you? Yeah, as long as the XML file's looking for it. Okay. Oh, I've gone too far. Let's just crack straight on with it. Okay, so this is our project, and the only prerequisites that we have to have is alignments. And these alignments must be touching. If there's a gap there, it won't make the corridor. Okay, so they must be touching or crossing. If you're doing a crossroads, you can equally do a crossroads. And the other prerequisite is you need to have a profile. Okay, so I've already drawn a profile here for the main road, which is this green one here. I've not drawn this one. I'm going to draw one on here because there's a principle I want you to see, and I've just drawn the other ones. Okay. Now the principle I want you to see is, if I was doing this manually, I would be looking at the chainage value of this road here. It's around 105. I'd then be going over to here, look for 105, and I'd find what level that road is at, and I'd put it at, as close to that as I possibly can. I'd try and tie it in. And in fact, if you see me doing it manually, I'll put a road on it first, put a surface on it, gives me a tie-in point. What the wizard will do very nicely is tie in for you. So all you need to do is just be very rough. Just get it close to where you want it to be. So it's around the 40s, this kind of starting point. So I'll just draw my profile around there, not giving two hoots as to the actual level. I'll put it across there. It wants to go up here somehow to a high point, and then it wants to go to the end. Obviously, I'm not going to spend ages engineering a solution for you here. So I'll just pull that one across so it doesn't interfere with the junction. And I'll just put a vertical curve in there. As I say, you'd spend a bit longer doing this in the real world, wouldn't you? Put one there and there. And of course, you'd go in and set the lengths how you like them. We like nice round numbers, whichever you'd prefer to do. So you need some sort of profile. That's the only prerequisites. The rest is dealt with for you. Okay, so knowing that isn't tied in, and knowing I've got a curve in there, something is going to happen to this. When I tie them in, when the junction wizard ties them in, something has to happen to that profile. So we have to come back to this once we've done the junction wizard. That's the important thing. Okay, so let's do it. Let's just go straight in. I'll go into junctions. Remember, if you've got the American English, yours will say intersections there. Create junction, pick that point there. I'm just going to roll it out and pan it over a bit for a very good reason in a second. Because we get the junction wizard up. Now, in my humblest of opinions, this is how all software should be written. It's really, really intuitive. So it gives it a name and all that business. I'm not worried about that. But the key thing here, the first thing is, do you want to maintain the primary road crown, or do you want all crowns to be maintained? Now, the preview here shows you what it means. If we maintain the crown of the main road, it's going to lock the profile of the side road at that point and that point. And if it's a crossroads, also at that point. If you have all crowns maintained, it's going to move the profile and just lock it in the middle. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to maintain the crown on the main road. You wouldn't normally change that in a junction. Hit next. This is where your profiles must be set. Okay, so they're all set, so I'm happy with that. And all we need to do is go and set our offsets, our corner radiuses, our crossfalls, and our corner radius parameters. Nothing you need to do in there, really. So if I was looking at this junction here, I'll go offset parameters first. Remember, I've changed nothing here. This is just out the box, okay? So I'm going to have the main road at 365 wide. Now, when I select it in here, first of all, it shows me which alignment it's talking about in the drawing. Brilliant. And it also shows me in this little window here, what we're talking about. We're talking about this width here. If I click on Use Existing Alignment, it highlights the alignment. And of course, I don't have one, so I'm saying no. So the offset value for the main road, I'm going to leave at 365. But for the side road, I'm going to make this smaller, 2.75 and 2.75. So it's going to have a smaller road here. That's it. If you are putting narrower roads on, like 275 for this road here, if you don't tick this box here, it will only put the offset to about here, about 10 meters beyond the junction, somewhere around there. And of course, because I'm using a narrower road, it's going to target them. And when it goes beyond the offsets, it will widen it back to whatever the assembly that we're going to use is, and you'll see that in a minute. It'll widen it to whatever that is. So I suggest you always tick that box. That would be my advice. Not all, there are reasons not to, but most of the time it makes sense to have that ticked. So we'll hit OK. I'm happy with that. Next, we'll do the corner radius parameters. Okay, so again, if you're unsure what they are, it highlights in the drawing, showing you what does it mean. Well, it's the fillet between the two. Okay, so it's basically, if I select in here, it's this thing here. So if I look at the radius, it's telling me there it's the radius of the alignment that's going to place in there. And again, if you've seen me doing this manually, you'll see me doing that actual job in there. And you can pick your southeast or your north, in this case, southeast, southwest in there. Let's say I want to put a turning lane in there. Boom, boom. And look, there's the preview. It's telling you what it's going to do. It's going to put a turning lane in there. So maybe the taper length of 10 meters, offset 275 I'm happy with, widening segment length, let's just do 20. And that's for this one here, which is the incoming lane. And then for the outgoing lane, I'll go 10 and 10. Okay. So we can set that up as we want. The radius, what was it? What was it? 6 meters. Let's stick with that. Was the other one 6 meters? Yeah, happy with that. Just hit OK. So you've done your offsets. You've done your corner radius parameters. Let's do the lane crossfall parameters now. So again, the preview will show you. If I go in here, it shows me what alignment it's talking about. It shows me in here which one it's talking about. And we can choose on the left side what slope do you want, on the right side what slope do you want, left side, right side, etc. So we could put a different slope on the road in there. In this instance, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it at 2.5%. The corner radius profile, again, if you see me do this manually, you'll understand what it is. But basically, in plan mode, we've now created, with the offset alignments and then the corner radius alignments, we've created this geometry here. But in profile mode, I need the curb of my road 1 to match the curb level-wise of road 2. I need them curbs to tie in. The centre line will tie in. I also need these to tie in. So it's basically going to profile the curb of road 1, profile the curb of road 2, and it's going to tie them two together. That's essentially what it's going to do. Okay. Yeah, let's go with that. I haven't changed anything. I'm happy with that. Let's see what we end up with. So they're the 4 things that you need to do. Basically, set your offsets, do your corner radius, set your crossfall, and then do your corner radius parameters, your profile parameters. So let's hit next. So in here, first thing is we're going to create a corridor. Don't have to. You can just create the alignments if you want. So we're going to create the corridor, and it's going to be a new corridor. I can't tick add to an existing because there's no corridor in here at the moment. But when I do the next one, we'll add it to that existing corridor. Brilliant. Which surface are we going to daylight? So the survey LiDAR combined. Now, this is the important bit. This is the bit that everybody kind of gets a bit muddled with, but it's a lot easier than you think. When you first install Civil 3D, and even when you put the country kit in, all you will have in this list is the Civil 3D metric assembly set, and you'll have the Civil 3D metric drive left side of the road. So we think, oh, well, we'll use that one, drive left side of the road. What it's going to do is it's going to bring in all these assemblies based on that list there. So if you've got the country kit in, all you need to do is hit Browse, go into this folder. I think it starts in that folder, metric. There they are. So there's the left side of the road one, and there's the normal one. All you need to do is go up one level. There's a UKIE one, and then there's one here called a State Road Junction set. They are the UK ones. They're already set for us, okay? So that's the one you're going to use, and it'll bring all of these in. There you go. Different names from all there. Nice and neat. And basically, if I select one in here, like primary road full section, there is an assembly that looks a little bit like that. It's got a curb on it and a footpath and some earthworks on both sides. And it's going to apply that on the main road here, not at the junction, but after the junction as well. Okay. There's a secondary road full section. It looks just the same. We're obviously going to tie it down a little bit narrower, but it's going to apply that here. Now, where the road crosses here, the main road crosses the junction, it's going to apply that assembly, so there's no curb on the left-hand side. Or if the junction was going the other way, it'll apply that assembly. There's no curb on the right-hand side, depending on which way the junction's going. If there was, if it was a crossroads, there would be one with no curbs on both sides. Then there's the curb returns. So it applies that one down there and down here. So you get this one here where the actual baseline of the assembly is on the channel line or the edge of the curb or the edge of the lane. And that gets applied here, and it targets this center line and this end line here. And then it applies it on the other side, going in the opposite direction. Again, have a look at if you don't know how to do this manually, have a look at my video that I did previously, showing you how to do that manually. But it applies that for me. Now, unless this road here is perpendicular to that road there, you will also have a shorter curb return on one side or the other, which is why you have these half sections, which can apply there if it's on the right, or there if it's on the left. So these are all the assemblies that it's going to import into this drawing. I'm going to come back to that in a lot of detail in a minute. Okay, so let's just go with it. Create junction. Just sit back, take a slurp of tea and wait for it all to happen. Building the corridor now. There's the offsets. So it's brought in the offset alignments. There's that widening zone in there. Oh, balls, I did it too long on that one. I should have done it 20 there, 10 there. Never mind, not the end of the world. We'll carry on. So there is our widening section and what have you. All we need to do is do a regen, and it'll bring in, I've done R, you know, I hate when it does that. Regen, and it'll bring in the corridor. So it's brought that corridor in for me. Let me go to the object viewer. And it's tied everything in beautifully. Okay, so all of the roads are all tied in nice and neatly together. Trying to think how I can fix that. Yes, I know what I can do. Oddly though, it does use the assembly set here called UK assembly section. We don't want that. We want to use the with links shown. It's a bit neater. Okay. So what else has it done? Well, it's brought in all them assemblies. So these are the assemblies that the UK country kit has installed when you install the country kit, and it's brought all of them in for you. And of course, you can just go and select the objects, select similar, go to the properties, change them if you want to. So if you want different depths for everything, you can. It will change them all for you. So that's nice and simple. But the other thing to look out for, remember I said about the profile. It's got to have changed the profile. And it has. See there? It's done that. So that is, it's locked to that point on the edge of the main road, and it's locked that point on the crown of the main road. So clearly that's now going to be a little bit messy. So you will have to edit that geometry. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete the curve. Okay, so I've got a point there and a point there. Let's delete that point. Don't need that one. Okay. Oh, another one appeared over there. So let's delete that point. So, oh, why can't you delete? Interesting. It will not let me delete that point. Right, okay. Right, that's fine. We'll not worry about that. Will you let me delete the other one? Right, okay, it will. So I'm going to move that back up to there. Won't let me because of this lock here. Okay. Basically, there is a rule that says how much of a difference in slope they should have. You'll see them in the settings. And it's not allowing me to break that rule. So what we can do here is we can unlock this. Now, before we unlock it, that is the only thing telling me where the edge of the carriageway is. So I'm just going to draw an AutoCAD line from there to there so I can see where the edge of the carriageway is. I'm going to unlock that point, use the grips to bring it across because I don't want any vertical curve, because of course I'd break my Ferrari balance at this point, wouldn't I? It's a bit too steep. And I reckon it'll let me delete that point if I wanted to, but I don't want to now. But it'll let me move it. There. Okay. So I'll now put my vertical curves in. There to there. And we'll just draw something in, making sure we don't interfere with where the existing carriageway is. Okay, so I can move that over if I want to, but as long as I don't go beyond that line, I won't interfere with the existing carriageway, essentially. So I'm happy with that. I can delete that line now. I can go into here and relock that point. Okay, all nice and locked. So that's fixed the profile, so it's nice and neat. But of course, remember, you always have to update your corridor. Rebuild. And that has updated your corridor. Now, I made a mistake on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that up here, so that I've got a shorter widening area. I want to go even shorter than that, actually. But, there. So I've just got this straight out, and then you can indicate right into there. So let's go with that. Now the beauty is, and again, if you see me do this manually, these are all dynamic. So if I move something like that and rebuild the corridor, it will be up to date. It will be correct. It will still tie in. Everything still ties in, nice and neat. Okay, so it's all done for me. Next thing is, if I do want to change any of the parameters, I can select here on the label, and you'll see I've got edit offsets, edit corner radiuses, edit all of these, and then recreate the corridor. Be warned, if I recreate the corridor, recreate the junction, then I'll have to go back and redo that. As soon as I recreate that junction, it's going to re-bugger that up for me. Okay, so we do have to be a little bit wary of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pull that back into there, because I'm going to create a new one here. All right, but this time I want it 275, 275. So let's have a look at these settings. Okay, so if I go to my settings tab, go and find the junction. There it is. Go find the commands and go and find the create intersection command. This is where I can set this in my template. So if I'm doing a housing estate and all the roads are 275 wide all the time, I'd just do it in here, and then you'll never have to change them settings. So we just go into our default offsets, and we'll set that to 2.75 on every one of them, like so. You can set your default slopes, you can set your default corner radiuses, you can set your widening parameters for that widening zone. So there's that 30 metre. So maybe I should have had that at 10 and 10, and then I can adjust it from there. There's my side profiles. There's that rule, minimum, maximum gradient, gradient change, should I say, and how long it extends it along the corridor, the alignment. Okay, so you can set all of that. So now they're all set. When I come to do this next one, I can just whiz through it all, can't I? I don't have to go through every single thing. So let's do it. So I'll go to my junction, create junction. I'll select this point here this time. Okay, I'll just leave that as is. Now, if everything was sorted, I can just go next, 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 next. Or I just go next and then create junction, or even just create junction. No, I do next and then create junction. We don't have to go into these. There is one other thing that I wanted to show you, and that is these alignments have already been made, these two alignments. So actually what you could do is in the offset parameters, rather than saying no and just creating the new ones, for the main road, this one here, we do have an existing alignment, don't we? So I'm going from north to south, so that one is the left. So it is the offset new road 1 offset left, and this one here is yes, and this one is new road 1 offset right. If you're unsure which ones they are, that's what these green buttons are for. So I can go in here and pick the offset right, it goes right to the end, There it is, offset right. So it's telling me there. Okay. So them buttons there are quite useful. Also a good way of changing your panning. So you can get it to use, otherwise it'll just create another alignment on top of it. So you'll end up with multiple alignments. So that's quite useful as well. Similarly, if I'm doing the corner radius, we've already set that up, so I don't need to do anything there. The crossfalls already been set. Now here, it's going to create a profile. Again, on that main one, I could say yes to that and say offset left to road 1. So I could set the profile name, which will be existing road, junction 1, new road 1 left, 2.5%. And I could say new road 1 right, 2.5%, and it will do them as well. So you can get it to use existing ones. Or if you've designed something a bit odd, you can also get it to use existing ones. Hit OK. Don't need to do crossfall, don't need to do corner radius, do next. Now I can create another corridor, or I can just add it to the existing corridor and daylight. Oh, won't let me do the daylight. Interesting. If I do a new one, it will. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we'll see what's going on there. So again, I'll just use the Estate Road Junction set and just let it build it. So that will add to this corridor. I think because I made a mess and made that widening too long, it might overlap a little bit. No, it's just, yeah, it has overlapped a little bit. That bit there is an overlap, which is rather annoying. So I should, I'll get rid of that in a minute. Okay, but essentially that is our 2 junctions all in one corridor. I have to pull that one back. Just check it which one it is I'm pulling back. Not that one, it's the other one. I'll sort it in a minute. Okay, so that is the bringing the 2 together, like so. What I want to show you now is using your own assemblies. So I've got my own assemblies here. We've got different values. They're much neater. I've got an existing one, which is 365, and a proposed one at 275. I'm going to use just the proposed ones, okay? I've created an assembly of them half sections, left and right, junction on the right, over there on the main road, junction on the right on the side road, junction on the left on the side road, and we also have a curb return, okay? So we have all of our assemblies already in here. So the next task I want to do is I want to use the Junction Wizard, place all them assemblies in the Junction Wizard and save it for doing the next one, and then I can put it on a different project. I've got one waiting for in the wings here, okay? So let's do that. So let's go and create a new junction. We'll do this last one here. So I will go junction, create a junction. We'll do it at this point here. Like so. Okay, I'm just going to go with all the defaults because they're already set, aren't they? We already did that in a minute ago. Profile's already done, so I'll just go straight into here, add it to the existing corridor. Still don't know why it's not letting me do that. But this time, I'm going to go and change them all. So my curb return fillet will be my new road curb return. There it is, left. So that's the one I've added in. Let's go and do the next one. So this one here is, hang on, let me just move that out of the way. So we're doing the primary road full section. So that is new road 5.5. So that's that one. Primary road section. So it says daylight left, which is junction right. Bit weird. Junction right. New road 5.5 junction right. New road 5.5 junction left. Then we've got our secondary road. I'm going to use the same one as this one here, 5.5. So we'll do a new road 5.5. And secondary road half section. So let's go in here and we should have new road half section. This one is left. And this one is half section right. Half section right. Okay, so I've added all of these assemblies in, and I'm going to do a save set as. We can save it wherever we like in here, create your own folder or whatever. I'm just going to put it in here, and I'm just going to call this one webinar example. So we should have one called webinar example at the end. Okay, that will work in the background. Now, what is it doing? Well, it's creating a little XML file, and it's also creating a DWG of every one of them assemblies and storing it in my drawing, so I don't have to do anything. So we'll create the junction. A lot of modelling to do here. There's my junction. Okay, to tie these two in together, literally just drag it together. Now, because it didn't daylight this junction in here, the quick way to daylight the junction, do the earthworks. I know I don't understand where the word daylight comes from. Let's just work with it. So we can just bring that all together. If I go into my corridor and I want to put the earthworks on all of it, just do set all targets, and you'll see there's a whole load of surface targets not covered here. So click in here, set your surface target for them all in one go, and rebuild the corridor. Okay. Now, one advice I can give you, if you start getting this, I mean, I've done 4 junctions in here. You can see how long it's going to take to build, quite a while. What you need to do, if you're doing maybe, 10 junctions, is probably split them up into multiple corridors. Don't put 10 junctions in one corridor. The other thing you could probably do with doing is reducing the frequency where you've got these bits here. Just have the high frequency in this area here. And of course, if we go into the parameters, that's what we've built. So we started with nothing, and in 10, 15, 20 minutes, we have created all of this. And if I was to go in here and pick the regions, there it is. That's that region there. You can see it highlights the region. So I can say, well, actually, at that region, I don't need to have the frequency quite as often. It's currently every 2 meters, so I'm going to go every 10 and every 5. Oh, actually, it's probably 2 on verticals as well. Okay, hit OK, and rebuild. So you would probably do a little bit of tweaking in that just to reduce how much data there is in there. And you saw immediately how much it was a bit quicker, wasn't it? Because it wasn't making that many assemblies. Okay, so I've added that in. So if I went to this new drawing here, the only difference between this one and that one is I've already done that one. Okay, so I'm going to use that same assembly now on here. So they'll all be 5.5. So we'll do junction, create junction. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Let's cancel that. Let's just go in and make sure our settings are correct. So junction, commands. I'm just thinking I don't remember changing this. Junction options, default offsets. Yeah, I didn't. Let me just double check. 6 meter, happy with that, happy with that. And we will go, that'll do. Okay, so let's just use the same assemblies that I've just added. So I'll go junction, create junction, this point here. Accept all the defaults, happy with all of that. But this time I'll go into there, it's a training one, webinar example. See it there? Click on that. These will all fill in correctly. I think there we are. There's all the assemblies that I had, and I will create junction. And there it is. Prove a point, create another one. Create junction, one at this point. Accept all the defaults. Add to existing. It's not going to let me daylight. It's already doing this one. It's remembered I did that one last time, so it's sticking with it. Create junction, etc., etc., etc. So we can just keep adding them. All right, and there it is. And we can just drag these along to the end. set the daylight, all the earthworks, set all targets, like so. I'll tell you what, let's put a surface on it. And we'll set it to contours, 0.1, 0.5, overhang top links, add in the top links. Anything complex like this, always add in the relevant feature lines. So we'll add in the crown, we'll add in the lane, we'll add in the top of curb, we'll add in the back of curb, we'll add in the footpath outside edge, back of edge, and that'll do. And we'll add a boundary in. Let's just have a look at the... you may have to tweak the contours, but it should be pretty okay. And then last thing, let's just get rid of all of that. So we'll change that to plan view. And there's your contours. Nice and neat contours. Bit wibbly wobbly there. We could maybe adjust them slightly, but yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a pretty neat surface, that. Let's have a look at it in the object viewer. Look at that. Beautiful. All the crowns tying in, all the curbs tying in. So essentially, when you understand what the wizard's doing, and you've set it up how you want to do it, if you're doing housing estates and stuff like that, dead easy. Just bang them in. But just bear in mind, you're making a lot of data. You know, even that tiny corridor there, we've created quite a lot of data already. So split it up. Don't put 10 in one. You know, maybe 4 or 5, you might be all right. And you also may, when you stretch these out, if I stretch that right to the end, it's going to do it every 2 meters all the way to the end. I don't want to do that. So I would either add another region here with lower ones, or just drag it across and make that whole region every 10 meters. Same with that one, maybe every 20 meters, depending on what it is. And that'll make life a lot easier. So the last thing is, that's what the XML file looks like that we created. Okay, this is the one that comes with the country kit, but mine's just the same. In fact, to tell you what, let's go in and go back to civil. Go back to this one. In there. If I was to do the junction, create a junction on it, I'm not going to create another junction, don't worry. I'm just going to open up that actual assembly set there. So if I hit browse, webinar, let's edit that. So this is the one I've just created, the webinar example. So you can see the assembly path there. That is where that assembly is. There, it's a DWG there. Oh, what happened to it? Oh, you went over. But yeah, it's there. Let's move over a bit. Okay, so it's called Primary Road Full Section with Curbs and Footpath. And it's in Program Data, Autodesk, C3D, Assemblies, UKIE, Primary. So, it should be UKIE, UKIE. And there they all are. There's all the what am I trying to say? Drawings. That's what I'm trying to say. Drawings. Okay. So if I was to open up one of them, it's all gone behind something. Primary road, full section with curbs. This is the drawing it's just created. And there it is. It's just a drawing with that in it. So if you're going to share that, you need to share the XML file that you've made, and you need to share the drawings that you've made, okay? So there's the XML file, and there's the drawings, these ones here that I've added. So they're the bits you share, okay? Interestingly enough, you know, in your tool palettes, oh, I've not got them open for some reason. In your tool palettes, the ones that are in here, UK Junction, these are the ones that are being used in the assembly. Okay, so they've been added into the tool palettes. So the ones that were added automatically are these ones here. All right. So hopefully that was useful. Anybody got any questions? Please feel free to throw them my way now. Yeah. Presume most of you are watching the footy this weekend. I'm the only one in this house who can watch it. Nobody else really likes it. No questions? Well, that was good. That must have been very clear, which I'm pleased about. We will be recording this session and it will be posted online, usually within a couple of weeks, often within a week. But I will get the recording off and do that straight away. And in the meantime, thanks very much, everybody. Oh, hang on. Oh, smiley face. Like you said, unless there's more to that than smiley face. No? Okay, cool. Yeah, if there's nothing to add to that, thanks very much for joining us. Have a great weekend. Let's hope England win and let's hope nothing stupid happens. And I'll see you at the next round. I'll be publishing them. Remember, if you want me to do anything specific, send it my way. The retaining walls was a request by somebody in the last webinar, so by all means, I'll have a look at that for you. Okay, thanks very much, everybody, and I'll see you soon.